Hello, everyone. Mackey's here, and welcome back to Chasing China, your weekly update of all things League of Legends going into the World Championships. We are officially 77 days. Wait, let me just actually recalculate that. Let me hold on. Just give me a few minutes, by the way. Well, unfortunately, my mistake. I'm just an idiot like somebody else. It is not 77 days until Worlds. It is 75. Let me just readjust my thing. There you go. And now here we are. We are less than 11 weeks until the World Championships in China. And there are so many things we have to talk about. Now, unfortunately, the sheep has to be, stalked back into the farm and not be produced this week because, of course, we got so much League of Legends to do. And, of course, I have to go to work tomorrow, to hang out with my parents and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is these days, but there are three huge news. Actually, I decided to make it a fourth one. There. All right. Cool, cool, cool. In fact, give me a couple of minutes. I think there's a lot of news I have to go through. Give me a couple of minutes. Give me a couple. Alrighty, alrighty. A little bit of a rough start, a little bit rough start to our programming, but everything is now under control and back on the air. So there are a few pieces of news that I'll be talking about from the league before we get to the actual games from the LTA North, the South, the LCK, the LPL, and the LEC that is going to be coming up this week. In fact, in a couple of hours from now, about 4 hours from now, it will be the 1st of August. And unfortunately for me, I'm going to be 28 in about 17 days. Yeah, life comes at you fast. Also, a little shout out to you. Happy birthday for David Schottenheimer, who. David. Oh, jeez. I botched your name again. David. Call it David S. Happy birthday to David S. He's going to be like a little bit a year older. You know, I actually gone on chat before the whole thing, and I told him that if you want to if I told him that there are going to be three funeral songs they're going to play 100 Thieves Leaves, Welcome to the Black Parade. I posted funerals by the Band of Horses, and I also give him Sunshine on the Leaf. And then maybe there's a Scottish one. It's like pouring over the glass. Wait, pouring over the glass, which is saying, um, what is it? I know this is me rambling, but we'll get to the news. 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 Okay. We'll get to the news. Okay. We'll get to the news. I promise you, we're gonna get to the news. But this is just like me rambling, just a couple of minutes, to get to the point. No, 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 no. Okay. Um, it's hard. It's hard. But I already gave him three funeral songs. I was trying to find a fourth one. I'm trying to find a fourth one, of course. So I'm trying to find a fourth one to like if Hundred Thieves leaves, what will be the perfect funeral song? In fact, let me just say this: go down to the comment section and tell me when Hundred Thieves is about to leave League. What's the perfect funeral song? I have Sunshine on My Leave. I have the the funeral by the Band of Horses. You can figure out what funeral song is gonna play when Hundred Thieves is about to leave League, and it will not be a pretty run. Consider how this first week started. No, it was not a pretty one, I but I want you to go to the comment section and figure out what funeral song will be played. And I want you to do the same thing for Travis Gafford because he, as we all know, he has just left the league. Now you're asking to yourself, Akeem, why is a big deal? You don't know the guy that much. Now I watch a few of his content, and the guy knows League, not much at the back of his hand, but pretty much knows the personalities, does some interviews, all this kind of stuff. Now he's leaving for, of course, Magic Gathering and Rift Bound, the car games, of course, that he has been doing some time, but now he's like doing all the fully do it full time. And I think Monte Cristo Thorin and Richard Lewis mentioned about in the Four Horsemen yet last night or this morning, by the way, that he is pretty much the big deal in League in terms of creating personalities. And unfortunately, with him gone, the personalities are just kind of dried up. In fact, the entire scene, the entire League of Legends scene, is just dry with personalities. Like, I have seen more personalities from Mark Goldbridge supporting Manchester United than I have seen in any League of Legends. And for anybody who asks me the same, but hey, at least Koreans have some personalities, they trash talk. Guys, people on Earth, they scripted these things, okay? They write scripts, they do all these kind of stuff. You know, they write their own scripts so they make them trash talk. It's not that they trash talk by themselves. And besides, Koreans, by the way, and I know culturally they're different. They're definitely cultured. They behave differently and all kind of stuff. So so what do you expect from Faker to say? Some insult about their mother or something? That would be an outrage. That would be like a crime against humanity. That would be like absolute crime against humanity, especially in Korea and especially with T1. We'll get more to T1 in a second, but you know, to lose in Travis Gafford like this, it's a big, big blow. On top of everything that's been really hurting the North American scene for the last 8 months. I mean, you have to talk about the LTA's getting a lot of flack. One of the most, I'm not saying one of the most prestigious teams, but one of the most established teams in the league kind of up and left, even though that everybody knew that this was a provisional slot and probably leave in 100 Thieves. And now their most recognized face in terms of League of Legends in North America, mind you, just up and left. And now what are you going to have? You're going to have a league that is never going to beat Korea and Asian teams, no matter how hard they tried. And even if Flagwords were to beat a North American team, and even if Flagwords were to win Worlds, nobody gives a damn. Like, nobody gives an absolute damn at this point. This league is pretty much dead by, you know, it's pretty much on life support. It's on the ICU. It's pretty much like hook up to machines on their noses, on their mouths, and all kind of stuff, and it's just like they're waiting for being plugged out by somebody, anybody, to like kill this whole thing. Because right now, I have seen more personalities in CSGO than I have in League of Legends. I have seen more personalities in Dota than I've seen in CSGO. I have seen more personalities in God knows chess on Magnus Carlsen that I haven't. You know, the EWC tournament that is happening. You know what Magnus Carlsen did after he beat Hikaru in one of those matches? He gave the crowd this. Now I know it's in Riyadh, and of course Hikaru was on the Team Falcons team. But I tell you what, that is something that is something spicy, by the way. That is something I can watch, man. I want to see chess players be like that. League of Legends have like no personality at all. I have personality. I have more personality than you guys. I may not have the biggest subscribers or the biggest, influencers and all kinds of stuff. And speaking of influencers, listen, I wanted to go deep on the casual thing, but I've realized, same time, not much time, man. So I'm not going to go too deep in that thing. That's a rabbit hole that I just do not want to go into that. That's for Rich and LS and all this kind of stuff to go through. But you know my 2 cents, not into these stuff. But, and I said but, I may not have the biggest money in the world, and I may not have like the most chaotic personality in the world. But I know this, when you see some persons who have the drive and the passion and the brilliance to cover League of Legends for so many years and to bring, the energy and the vibes to it, to interviews, to the news and the bring personalities. And once that's gone, you got no one left. Like, you got absolutely no one left. It's pretty much in a dead state right now. I mean, listen, the players have to play the game. Don't get me wrong. They have no other choice. But in terms of, like, colorful personalities, we got none. Like the only colorful personalities we have are Whipple and Inspired. And even then, that's pretty much, like, that's expected. We got no personalities in North America. None. Jojo Pion was the only personality that was in North America, and he just like shipped it Europe, and now he won an LEC title, and now become like I'm not saying the de facto face of Koi, but he probably like the biggest thing to have after Koi, and that may be the catalyst for all North American players to go join Europe. Look at Abadage, for God's sakes. He just decided to go, although, Abadage is a European, but still, it doesn't matter. The ink is dry. The toothpaste is out of the tube. The Pandora's box is open. You cannot close it back, man. It has all gone down the hill. And I believe it all goes down the hill when you try to sportify the whole thing. Yes, Akeem, sportify. By the way, in an hour, you know, by the time you're hearing this, football season is back. And no, not regular season football, but preseason football with the Hall of Fame game that is taking place. And that sport have the personalities. That sport's have the charisma. That sport is something that I can watch over and over again every single week until the Super Bowl. And I just thirsting for more. You see trash talking, you see mountain and all kind of stuff. You see everything that's going on right there. And for League of Legends as a whole, it does none of that. And I can understand, trying to professionalize the whole thing, trying to button up, trying to make sure you clamp down all the things you say, because if you say anything bad about it, you might get canceled by everybody else on the internet and every single one of them. But at the same time, like, we are in a society right now that, let's be brutally honest, either you say something or you pretty much say nothing and let the internet do it for you. And that's something that I cannot even do. Like, that's something that many people can't even do. Like Dom, maybe as a spicy personality himself. And when a spicy personality says even the rightest thing, even the rightest criticism that is being held by Dom is going to get canceled by Riot. Because they don't want to be like, admit they're wrong. They don't want to admit they're wrong. They don't want to do, be a personality thing. They wanted to just button up, be nice, do all these kind of things, play by the book, be professional and all kind of stuff. No wonder Chronicle is about to leave. Listen, I don't know if Chronicle leaving is because of all the Saudi things and all kind of stuff, but Chronicle is leaving Riot. Travis is already leaving, like, League of Legends. Not Riot Games, but leaving League of Legends. And God knows what other personalities are left. Latigris has already got burned because she's trying to be authentic, trying to become personality, trying to get involved with all the chaos and trying to make it herself with the whole TSM thing. And she got kicked. Now, yes, she's not a great caster, not even close, to be honest. But she's tried her best to be authentic and all kinds of stuff. And she got kicked. Literally kicked. As a black person myself, seeing a black woman getting absolutely kicked by the fans, it disgusts me. And now we all have to be like Sharks. We all have to be like pretty little Sharks, not saying anything, not saying anything mean, be casual, go to work and all kinds of stuff. And listen, this is not an offense to Sharks. She has been the hardest working person in all the world, and I appreciate that. But I tell you what, your personality is drier than, like, beef jerky. You are drier than beef jerky. You are drier than a wood on an oak tree. You are drier than the air in the summer heat right now. All the personalities of League of Legends have been so dry that hysterics are trying to interject personality. It's like you're trying to interject personality. I have seen more personality in an anime show than I see personality in League of Legends. Like, come on, man. I get emotional when an anime girl cries. God damn it. That's my emotion. Where's your emotion, League of Legends? Where is it? Where's your goddamn emotions? You guys are like robots. CSGO, at least, when CSGO player, make a cut shot, they put 2 middle fingers up in the air. That's personality. That's something I can lean with. And oh, by the way, tomorrow morning we have this IEM Cologne tournament. One of the most prestigious tournaments in the world. And I bet you one thing. They have more personality than you could ever have. Apex have more personality than you ever have. From Vitality. Like, come on. This is not even close. So I know this is a little bit of a tangent here, but seeing Travis Gavin lead is kind of like another piece of League of Legends soul being ripped apart by, not his fault, but I didn't watch the video, of course. I didn't watch like the 20-minute video of Travis Gavin. But when he said that League of Legends kind of sucked, it makes you feel like, yeah, go on, Travis, say something. Yeah, you know what? Say anything about League of Legends. Oh, yeah, say he sucks. Yeah, because I don't blame him. I just don't blame him. What is the point of League of Legends in North America right now when the personality is not great? The league is not doing well viewership-wise. Like, listen, I will tell you what. If you can bring Gen G and T1 to North America, that viewership will have more numbers than the LTA combined. Combined! Like, not even a country mile. That is Secretariat on the Belmont Stakes country mile of lapping that Gen G and T1 will do. Gen G T1 on a normal day will have more viewership than LTA North have combined. And that's where the cookie crumbles right now. Unless you can change the LCS, but even then, that ship has already sailed way too late into the ocean. It is too late. It is damn too late. The tube is already out of the tube. The toothpaste is out of the tube right now. It is gone. And Travis Gafford leaving, 07 to him. Thank you for all your service you have done. But dude, I am not blaming you for leaving this absolute sorry piece of a game right now. Of a game that has no personalities, no derive of character, nothing to show for it. And you know what? I ain't blaming you or any other casters or any other producers or any other person who wants to be part of this league being resigned. I love this league to death because I love to play video games and I love it. But if you don't show me any personalities, man, the door is right there. Go to the church and ask God to forgive you. That's all I have to say. I made my peace. Now, SRTTY joins LYON. Yes, we're going to get to T1 news, but I'll save that for the last one. So SRTTY, who, by the way, decided that he will be playing over Zamudi, the rookie for Leon's, because of visa issues. That sucks. So SRTTY, by the way, of course, he plays a Dignitas, and unfortunately, it did not do well. Now he decided to join the LYON, of course, to help out the team. I'm not saying help out, more like improve the team just a little bit. Not as much, but just a little smidgen. Yayo was supposed to be the top laner of this team, but unfortunately, he panned out. And now they have to play against Team Liquid. Yeah, good luck to that. I just just don't have any good feelings. So SRTTY joined the team. Not too much of a surprise, of course. Now for probably the second biggest news. Actually, like the third biggest news right now. We are not even into the games. Like, we are not even into the games, and we just have more news to show you. Los Ratones, the most popular team in all of the EMEA, with the most bipolar co-streamer right now, the suit and tie, not saying anything much, co-streamer of K-Dro. Let's just leave it at that. You all know what I mean. They realize, okay, there's two options. We either go to EMEA and defend our title, or go to China and go to Worlds. Now you're thinking to yourself, wait, Keem, they're our tier 2 team. They should go to EMEA Masters. Unfortunately, yeah, that is where the problem goes with line. So the reigning EMEA champions Los Ratones may not defend their title in the upcoming summer split, as scheduled in company with the 2025 League World Championships in China has raised out over the team's participation. The EMEA Grand Final is set to take place on November 2nd during Paris Games Week. Oh my days! That's a big coincidence. And that coincides with the biggest matchups ever, which is the World Semifinals. So, EMEA Masters, a tier 2 tournament that the Rats already won like twice over. And maybe you win in Paris, maybe you get all the fans, some of the fans get aboard or stuff. Or World Semifinals. I think we all know the choice is not even that close to compare with. Now, he has now Kajal, the owner and caster, of course. He is telling us that he's going to skip PMEA on the order to join the China and not only cast, but also to take advantage of the environment there. He emphasized the value of being inside, the opportunity to scrim against the world best teams, play solo queue and all that kind of stuff. And hey, listen, I can't blame him. Listen, Los Ratones is already cooked in the EMEA. Why you have to waste your time and just play against? And this is not a disrespect to all the tier 2 teams in ERLs, guys. I'm not disrespecting you. Bums and scrubs. Why you have to waste your time playing with bums and scrubs when you could just scrim against your T1s or your Gen Gs or your ALs of the world? Now, one of the persons that bring back up is Reckless. In 2024, these Masters semifinals took place on August 30th and provide a time for Worlds. Now, this year, of course, the final is nearly 2 months late, directly overlap with the crucial state of the World Championships. Wait a minute. Let me just highlight something here. So, you are supposed to have this tournament on August 30th. That was the plan, by the way. this 2024 tournament will take place on August 30th. Now, I heard that pretty much the tournament will take place at the same time as when we have like the LEC finals in Madrid. By the way, they always do that. They always have the LEC finals in Madrid along with the EMEA Masters, of course. That's always has been done, of course, throughout this entire weekend. But now you decided that we have to shift this back 2 months later. What? What? That is just doesn't make sense at all. Like, what's the whole point about this? And that, of course, leads us to the absolute microscope of the EMEA, man, guys. The ERLs, man. It's not looking pretty, guys. Now, beyond the fate of Los Ratones themselves, the situation highlights a deeper concern about the positioning of the ERL's ecosystem. When regional champions consider skipping the ERL circuit's flagship tournament for international opportunities, even if those are not directly competitive, it challenges percentage of the circuit's competitive prestige and schedule coherence. This edition of the EMEA Masters was expected to build on the momentum of previous tournaments, especially given the return of an on-stage final at a high-profile venue such as Paris Games Week. However, if one of the most popular teams in the tournament potentially walks away from defending their title, this raises questions about the long-term engagement of top-tier talent, particularly those with access to global opportunities. As of today, no final decision has been confirmed. However, with the growing conversation fueled by casual statements and reckless commentary, makes it clear that the ERL's calendar and strategic priorities may need to be evaluated if it to retain its relevancy amid the increasingly global aspirations of its top players. So, right now, I'll tell you one thing: Los Ratones have literally the ERL by the coattails right now. The ball is on your court, ERL, man. Hey, listen, we have the most popular team. We have won two titles. We have brought you growth we have brought you eyeballs to NLC. Let me just show you something. Let's just show you esports charts right now. So, by the way, if you like the video, please like and subscribe and all kind of stuff. It will give the algorithm and all kind of stuff, good feelings and all kind of stuff. And if you want more content than everybody else, the best thing to do is to go to my channel. I have a second channel dedicated to TFT. If you wanted to do that, maybe I'll do one, talking about like the TFT circuit and my thoughts on the first week of the first week of gameplay on set 15. And trust me, it's been a rough one, but getting through, man. Getting through strong. Now, let's talk about the NLC, by the way, a tier 2 competition. And it's been freezing, by the way. Oh, geez. Well, color me shock. Well, okay. All right. Let's try this again. NLC. Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Now, the NLC, by the way. And by the way, this is for... Look at the viewership numbers. 277,000 viewers. But unfortunately, it declined. Like, viewership for the league has dropped to 50%, by the way, when compared to winter. This is from April 15th, by the way, but context has been needed. So yeah, it said that during the group stage of tiebreaker, the NLC wins have racked up 1 million hours watch comparison. In comparison, viewership for the NLC had dropped to 45% over the same date. Pico Corride viewership in the spring was cut in half, and the average number of viewers had gone to 42%. Look at this. When Los Ratones won their first bid, I mean, people were invested in this whole thing. People were watching. People were just invested. They were like, my God, it's incredible. And then you look at this and saying, not great. But there are some factors aboard. Drops in numbers in casual stream, 159,000 viewers, and this spring it's like 67.15. All the other viewership numbers are taking a hit. NLC streams are taking a hit and all kinds of stuff. And listen, it's said that the hype around the NLC is being aware, and the Los Ratones ranch up it's been gone. It's just pretty much like it is what it is, The Los Ratones come in, new team, all their personalities, all the cool stuff. It become great, and now it's like, okay, yeah, I've already seen this before. Just turn off the channel, and it's kind of feel wane. But the most important thing is that Los Ratones have now becoming like the biggest players of not only the NLC but all the biggest players in the EMEA Masters. And if they were decided to walk out for some international exposure, then that makes the NLC and all not only that the ERLs feel more incomparable than it is. What if Carmen Core Blue wanted to decide to play internationally as well? What if Barca Esports wanted to go? What if like I don't know Rudy Sack? And by the way, it's not only Rudy Sack, by the way. But the point is that if Los Ratones decided to go internationally, it will have a domino effect for like all of the rest of the teams. The ERL teams that decided that they wanted to prioritize content and viewership and go internationally and scrim with all these teams rather than just play in a league that's not going to benefit to all of them. And if you're a player from the ERLs, you may not have another chance of Europe. I mean, just look at this. I wanted to show you something. We'll get to the games. We'll get to the games, Akeem. Calm down. We'll get to the games. But I wanted to show you something. I wanted to show you something. How jarring this is. So these are your big regions. But the most important thing is this LEC. This beautiful LEC by now, which is, by the way, in 2 days, we're going to have the LEC coming back. And these are all the regions. These are all the regions that will be involved. Division 1, Division 2, NLC, Rift Legends, High Points, Roads of Legends, those minor league systems. And now let's look at pretty much the most popular league. Let's go to LFL. LFL, most popular league by our country mile. Now, here is the kicker where it goes to. There are a few players that are formerly, LEC material and all that kind of stuff. Some of them are kind of like grow up in the league. Others are like growing all this kind of stuff. The odds of some of these players going to the LEC and perform decently well are kind of like slim to none right now. So, and it's impossible. You may do well. I mean, what if like Diplex do well? Oh wait, Diplex already played there. What if Deadly played well? What Deadly might get a contract to the LEC, but you never know. He might play crap, and you never know. And the question is that why you're stuck in there? Why did every other team have to stuck in there when you have a golden opportunity to go internationally and play against some of the best teams in the world? Now, Los Ratones, because of their brand, their content, and all that stuff, are like the exception to the rule. But at the same time, it really put the ERL in court. It's like, you better do something to this calendar, man. You better do something to this ERL thing to do all these kind of stuff. Or else you're just like, hey, man, this is gonna ruin so many of like the not only the young personalities, but also pretty much hamper the regional leagues as a whole. Because I admire the ERLs way better than like what is going on in the NLCL or JDL or the LCK Challengers or something. I admire the openness of the ERLs and all that kind of stuff. But if Los Ratones, one of your popular teams, decided to like up and leave for international tournaments, it's going to put so many headspin around the organizers and the people responsible for the ERLs to just do something. And now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Los Ratones have done more work towards ERLs in the last 8 months than Riot has ever done in like 10, I guess. So hey, it's a complex situation, man. But if they wanted to go to Worlds and all kind of stuff, I ain't blaming them. If they want to stay and defend their title, don't blame them. If they want to go and leave and do all that jazz, again, don't blame them. It is what it is. Now, two big news, of course. One, not as much. The other, that much. So, I was going to go pretty much like in the direction of the Zeus incident. But I think the FAKER one is pretty much the one that is going to have more viewership, more clicks, more likes, and all kind of stuff. So I have to go FAKER first. He is signing T1 for 4 more years. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029. T1 fans are going absolutely berserk. And unfortunately, or fortunately, if you're a Riot Games employee, you gotta have to witness T1 stop. You gotta witness FAKER T1 every year for all of your 30s, and if Dom's case, pretty much close to 40s. and you're gonna get so annoyed so much that you just wanted to feel like you just wanted to crawl out of the hole and not even mention T1 for the rest of your life. I know this is not the world he wanted to live in, but hey, he made his own bed, of course. So I mentioned this on my TikTok, by the way, and I'm gonna mention this again. Who in their right minds is going to replace Faker once his contract is up? Anybody? Any takers? All kind of stuff? Nope. Yeah, that's just it. That's just absolutely it. That is pretty much the whole situation right now. Is that you're gonna keep Faker for the next 4 years, and he may play decently until 30. But at that point, you gotta have a plan. You know, in case like Faker is gonna have to fall off completely, or he's not the same dominant player as Clutch because you already burned, you know, your transition plans with Poby going to Fnatic. Like you see football player teams going through them all the time. Liverpool are doing this right now. Arsenal are doing this right now. Man City, they are just refreshing their players, because some of the players are like to not, washed. Just saying, just saying. They do that all the time with all the transitional players. What's T1's transitional plans when Faker leaves? Or what's T1's transitional plans when Faker's hands are not working? Because I know Faker's hands are not as they've always been. His brain is the most functional thing. And it may make T1 pretty much the, kind of call it the second best team right now in the world. Yeah, hurts to admit it, but right now AL is kind of cooked, burnout, and all that kind of stuff. And they lost to BLG, which, let's be honest, BLG are looking decently good, but that honeymoon phase is not going to last long. So does Top Esports dominating position. I don't think these honeymoons will last long. I think AL will get their crap together, and they'll be fine. But I'm kind of a little worried. Not pushing the panic button for that. But here's the kicker right now. I believe that T1 has to ride their coattails and then have to figure out a plan. Because right now, in this current moment, the only players that are capable to have a better level than Faker and actually can play well is pretty much Rookie and the current state or Chovy. And I tell you what, I don't think Genji is going to let go of Chovy anytime soon. No way. No way, sir. Not at the season that he has right now. Maybe Rookie, maybe Scout, if he wants to come back here, wants to come back to the place that he first started his career, although he didn't end spectacularly, maybe he might do that. But I just don't see a contingent plans to all of this unless they can do something. And I ask myself, Akeem, where the hell did they get that money from to sign Faker? And it's like, oh, so you're telling me they actually signed with a Saudi product in Red Sea? Oh, okay, my bad. Yep, all right, there it is. There it is, guys. There it is. Oh, and you see Faker like shaking hands with the, some Saudi people. Oh, there it is. There it is. I said I'm not going to go deep in that rabbit hole, but, hey, they found the money. They actually found the money. They actually sustained the money. Good for them. Good for them. And they actually have the gallbladder to not only drop the Faker 4-year contract, but to issue an apology on behalf of Zeus and his entire family. 6 damn months too late. Now, you're asking yourself, Akeem, okay, why do you have to do that 6 months late? Because I think, I'm not going to go to all that jazz. You can go watch the Four Horsemen's reaction for it. But, and I'm going to say the word but, they have legal issues, and they have to realize that if this thing goes long enough right now, it's going to make it even worse for Zeus and his family and the fans of T1 harassing Zeus and all kinds of stuff. So it's like, you better make the apology right now, wipe our hands clean, just end this whole thing, and, be on my way, of course. So that's pretty much it. And I hope this whole situation just dies, of course. And also, let me just say something about Joe Marsh right now. I'm going to say some pretty stuff about Joe Marsh. Now, I know it's going to get censored, of course, yeah. But I'm going to try to find a censored version of it. Let's just see. Yeah. So Joe Marsh, dear old Joe Marsh, you come into Korea. You come into Korea. You come into Korea. You thinking you're gonna you're gonna come into Korea. You're gonna do some things. You're gonna, trying to negotiate a player, trying to keep the player, of course, trying to lowball you and all that stuff. But but here we go. Yeah, this is the chart, man. This is, I'm gonna show you something. Yep, this is the This is a chart, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joe March right now. Joe March in Korea, by the way. This is Joe March in Korea, by the way. Joe March in Korea. Just realize the Korea that if you mess around with Korea, they're gonna find out quickly, man. You think you could just go to Korea, walk in like your big CEO with your Comcast money and all kinds of stuff? No, man. You're gonna find out the Koreans are no joke in these situations. None. And I watch a lot of K drama to know that Koreans are not the kind of people you wanted to mess around with. Not with their laws, not with their businesses, and especially not with players' sentiment and all kinds of stuff. So Joe Moss made the absolute criminal mistake of like realizing that he can do whatever he wants in Korea and just be like, nah, nah, not in our house, not in Korea's house, not, especially not in T1's. So hey, he found out the hard way, man, and sadly, I don't think he can learn his lesson, but I hope he can learn a valuable lesson that Korea are not something to mess around with. That's just my 2 cents. Anyways, all that rambling is over and all the news being dealt with. It is time for some results. Now, I'm recording this on 8/34, July 31st, 2025, the last day of July, by the way. And there's some LCK games, LPL games, so we're not going to get too deep, of course. But it's time for us to go through the LCK matches. Now we're into the second week of LCK matches, and it's the results you pretty much expected, of course. You got your Rise group pretty much being rising up, playing some slob matches. Yes, your DK won, but it doesn't feel great. And then T1 just kind of like put KT in a box and then beat it up and just punch them and punch them and punch them over and over, whack them with boxes, tell them they're not even good enough. Then this morning, BFK just beat the life on the Honda Life Esports. Then Honda Life just eat Noshim for breakfast, nothing too much. So again, nothing too crazy in the LCK. Now we get to the new month and some other matches we're gonna get through. Genji versus KT, I don't expect too much. And then DK versus DNF, again, nothing too much. I think DK will win. I think DK will be the only good team from the Rise group to do some kind of decent, but in terms of like further going along, I think that much. T1 versus Honda Life Esports. That is a game I will be interested with. T1 have a big high, and I mean a big high, than beating Genji a couple of weeks ago in their homestand. Now, the homestand is going to be different from like going back to the LCK studios. But T1 is on a pretty good high right now. And Durant is looking incredible. Keria being the best player in the world by a mile. Listen, I'm going to say something right now. I never thought I'm going to say the word. A support player is the best player in the world. And you would have been like, dumb. But here we are, guys. Here we are. And Keria Gumiyushi is doing incredible. Durant is doing decent. Faker is fine-ish. Owner on the Xin Zhao can be absolutely deadly. He can be good on something else. But Owner Xin Zhao is like another level. Another level above. And I think Honda Life Esports are in a pretty spot right now. They're good, but they're just not as great as they once were before Genji Road to MSI matchup. Like before the Genji Honda Life MSI Road to MSI matchup, I was thinking, okay, Honda Life Esports kind of like 1 and 2 with Genji. Genji 1, Honda Life Esports 2, T1's kind of like 3 and all kind of stuff. And then everything kind of flipped after that series. And then T1 beat the crap out of Honda Life Esports. Yes, this is their first meeting since then. And now it's kind of like T1's kind of the second best team right now behind Genji. And Honda Life Esports is kind of like they're good, but they're kind of like, yes, I'm gonna use the anime reference of yes, I'm gonna use the horse girl anime reference to talk about like, they're coming like third. They're trying to be like closer to them, but they're not like close. So they're like 1 and 2 kind of like way up front, and then like the third place trying to come close, but they're like not even close, man. They're just not as fine. So I think T1 could win, but I will not be surprised if like Honda Life Esports will punch them up and just teach them that hey, we're still the best team ever in LCK. We're not going away, of course. We're still not going away. And I think this matchup could be huge and detrimental. That'll be the Saturday match of the week, by the way. BFK, Furx versus DRX, DNF versus Bro, Nashim versus Genji. Those are the matches for the weekend and the start of August, by the way. And if you look at the table, Genji are still on top by a country mile. Well, not a country mile, more like a few miles, of course. Honda Life Esports second, T1 third. I think they'll be the positions going all the way. I think those 3 positions are kind of locked. KT and National Red Force are gonna fight to see like who's gonna be out of the group and making the playoffs, and who's gonna be like pretty much fed to the wolves of the other group, which is pretty much D plus to lose by a mile. FearX, Breon, DRX, and Freak of Freaks are gonna be occupying the Rise group. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have to talk about. Now let's talk about the LTA right now, because as I mentioned way earlier at the start of this whole thing, 100Ds right now is in the funeral mode right now. They're in like slowly getting ready for the eulogy. They're in prime eulogy mode. They're getting ready. They got their black suits on. They got their black suits on. They got the eulogy right now. And unfortunately for 100Ds right now, their eulogy is it's getting pretty quick, because their series against Team Liquid was kind of like the whole thing that summarized 100 Thieves as a whole. You know, not saying the entire year, but last split. And listen, I'm not gonna say that 100 Thieves leaving League of Legends have a detrimental, psychological advantage for their players. But holy cow, do I see 100 Thieves look like they wanted to just item have out kind of thing. Holy cow. You do not tell me that all these guys who want to play for the contracts looking bad. Even Sniper. Like, Sniper, come on, man. Come on, man. You're playing for a contract, for God's sakes. Like, come on, man. And to do this against Team Liquid, to do this, especially like game one was kind of like you're in a good state and then you kind of fumble the bag again. Like, come on, what are we doing here? And now you got 100, and now you got Flag West. Fantastic. You got Flag West, everybody. 100 Ds will face off Flag West, and they're gonna get absolutely smoked. Yeah, congratulations. Good job. Fantastic job. Now, I'm not going to go to the schedule, of course. Cloud9 Dig, Flag West 100 Thieves, Shopify, Disguise, Team Liquid Leon. It's going to be a pretty 2-0 pretty much kind of week. I always say 2-1 if 100 Thieves could actually level up, of course. But I just don't see that happening, of course. Nothing much to say about the LTA North. Now we get to the LCP. I would, of course, let me just go to the LTA South. Let's just go LTA South right now. Sorry about the Sports Center, sorry about the ESPN Sports Center kind of thing. Kind of like a long night here. Yeah, Fury will take on Pain Gaming. Fury will take on Pain Gaming. Key and Song will take on Leviton. Red Cannons versus Loud. And Fluxmo will take on Isurus Game 7. And by the way, I think these matches already played. These are like all the matches being played, by the way. So, yeah, those are the opening matches. Those are the results. Not much to say about it. Let's go to the LCP, my favorite kind of region. Let's go to LCP. Let's talk about the LCP a bit. Already matches, of course. We don't have the matches, but Team Secrets and C2BC Blind Noises won. Gam and TSG Talon lost. Again, early days. Breakout group Vikings and SoftBank won. Chief and DFM lost. Again, nothing too much to write about the LCP. It's early days. The LPL, man. We got some pretty crazy stuff right now. So, let's look at the Group Nevada. As we look at the Group Nevada, nothing too much to write about. It's pretty much EDG's World to Lose. And Ninjas of Pajamas. Thunder Talk, who, by the way, signed, a new player, by the way. Let's just go down the bottom. Let's see. They signed YXL from their Junior Academy BLGT. Meanwhile, Milky Way, the former, FPX, I think he was a former really good player on RNG, then go to FPX and do well, then go back to RNG and look absolutely crap. Now he's going back to FPX. Since RNG are pretty much screwed over for the next year, why not Milky Way have another chance at FPX? And look at the position right now. They are not so great in Group Ascent. The only two teams that are good at Group Ascent are Top Esports and Billy. But let's just pause for a second. Let's just pause. Top Esports have 5 wins, but neither of these 5 wins just make them when you feel like, oh my god, Top Esports look great. They're not. They just clutched up pretty decently well. The gameplay has not been clean by any case of imagination. And yes, they're 5-0. But I want to see how long they're going to have to, how long will that last in the LPL space? And how long will all of this happen before they're going to have to, they get screwed over, of course, by, by the other teams. Top Esports, we all know how good they are domestically. But once they get, bloody the nose. Everything like fall apart quickly. So while I said top esports are like 5-0, I don't feel like a 5-0 team. This feels like a 5. This feels like a 3-2 team at best, to be honest. Billy, by the way, is also a 3-0 team. And yay, congratulations. Yay, you finally changed your jungler and your team is getting better. Good job. We're probably gonna give you a trophy and some medals, of course. But listen, that doesn't mean anything right now. The reason why you guys are cheering that top esports and Billy are good because of anyone's legend falling off the cliff. Guys, the moment that anyone's legend will get their crap together, and by the way, look at their game scores. It's not like, anyone's legends are a bad team anyway. They're 4-5 in game score. They could have won at least one series, and they could have lost all of these series. They're 4-5 in game score, which means they're not as bad as many people think. They're just giving up, all the trips to MSI and Riyadh and all kinds of stuff, which, happens to all the teams. Welcome to the world of League of Legends, as we all know, incorporated by Riot. But I think anyone legend will get their act together, come back, bounce strong, and if they finish like a top 4-ish, get themselves together, power up, go in group stages and all that kind of stuff, then I believe that they can do well enough to snatch the LPL title again and become like the best team at Worlds. Pretty much like the third best team at the Worlds so far, with Gen G and T1 pretty much occupying those two. That's pretty much my thoughts. JDG, FPX, and Team WWE. I think Team WWE, oh my goodness, Team WWE. You were supposed to, like, after all the upsets you did in the bracket, this is all you show for? This is all your efforts? Come on, man, you're better than this. Invictus Gaming and Weibo will also occupy the standings. Not much to talk about there. And finally, oh dear, finally, we're going to talk about the LEC. The region that is pretty much near and dear to my heart, but unfortunately have some really hard times. Not by their fault, but some of them. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the real business begins. Now, let's just talk about the format, by the way. So, in case you haven't anybody noticed, the format for this LEC summer split is single round robin, 2 groups of 5. Each team play 4 matches, so it's a single round robin. All matches will be best of 3 and fearless. Now, there's a debate, by the way, by Zalbatine. Shout out to Zalbatine, by the way, from his hot take point made on Thorin that I just watched this morning, and I feel like I agree with it. I think a best of 3 fearless is kind of feels inscript. Remember, it's a hot take, by the way. You don't have to take it with a grain of salt, but maybe I think best of 1s will be pretty much good. I mean, you could just put all the matches as best of 1. You can put like one group in best of 1s and another group in best of 1s and put it in a single day, and nobody will be bothered. I think this format is kind of flawed in any shape or form because, yeah, you might get the G2 Fnatic matchup and the Koi versus K-Core matchup, but other than that, it's like you got fine-ish teams and just like nothing else, of course. And the kicker is that pretty much like top 2 of each group will get to the upper bracket, 3 and 4 will get to the lower bracket seasons, and they go to like the regular players that you see. Top 4 and then you got double elimination, best of 5 fearless draft, and then you got top 3 go to Worlds. And that's pretty much where the flaws come from, of course, with this group stage, but they've already made their bets, so it is what it is. At least we don't have to worry about like season finals and all kind of stuff. And of course, the tournament will be taking place in Madrid for the whole summer finals. So hey, at least you got that feeling, of course. Now let's look at the group. Koi, Carmen Corp, Giant X, Team Vitality, and Na'Vi. Yeah, you know what? Just give me 1 second. Let me do my business. Well, okay. Now, let's be brutally honest. Talking about all the teams and players will last me about 50 minutes, of course. And trust me, I don't have that time. Look at that. I got like 11 minutes left online coverage. So let me just finish my recap of the LEC and pretty much the recap of all these things going on with my rankings of the LEC. Now, Na'Vi, unfortunately, you'll be in transitional mode because, of course, your team is supposed to be playing next year, but because Rogue wanted to like skedaddle out of here, LEC and all kinds of stuff, so they decided, Na'Vi, you're gonna be in there, and you're gonna have all the players, and you got Freddy 122 and Mount Rank is in support. So yeah, you're screwed here. SK Gaming, I think, is another worse team, of course. Team Eric is 8. Giant X 7, BDS 6, Vitality, which I think some of them said that Vitality could improve, of course. They're in 5th. Fnatic, who finally get rid of Humanoid. Congratulations, it's the best thing that ever happened to Fnatic in like the last 8 years, I guess. They're in fourth, and I just don't see them doing anything much unless either G2, Koi, or K Corp actually stumbled. G2 are third. I think their reputation of MSI really took a hit on them. Yeah, ZWC they did well, but G2 MSI's got like scarred in so many people's brains. And while Roman have like honest opinions about the scrim results and everybody else, G2 is kind of like they're not there. And I think I heard a little birdie that is like Skewmon. Skewmon and Broken Blade are switching roles. I think they got gotcha by G2. Let me just look. I'm sorry. Let me just look. Let me just look. Please do not tell me it's a joke. Please do not tell me, for the love of God, it's a joke. They did not do it. They did not do it. They did not do it. Okay. Okay. They got gotcha by G2, as usual. They got gotcha by G2. It's G2's classic thing. But even then, I think, the jungle support synergy is just, it hasn't worked since the start of the season, and I just don't feel like it is going to improve them as much. That leaves me with that top two of Koi and K Corp. I put K Corp as number one because I feel like K Corp has got the eye of the ball, thought it can roll over Koi like just Swiss cheese, or let me just say in French, a baguette, of course. And they got like absolutely humbled twice. And for a fan base like K Corp, and for a team like K Corp, who were expected to like grow internationally, and I praise K Corp, of course, when they made it to EMEAs and when they go through EMEAs and Worlds, and finally were winning a LEC title and make it to all the way to the international finals, as Mickey Mouse said it is. I was thinking, okay, Kevin Corp will go to like another phase, of course, in this split, but they didn't. They didn't. They fell off, not completely hard, but they fell off kind of hardish, of course, and they like humbled themselves. So now I think they can use this summer split as a way to like treat every opponent with respect and just like play better. Hopefully they can do like better than it was in summers, in spring splits, and just like show them that they're still the best team right now. Because right now G2 are not looking like themselves. Koi are good, but I think it's gonna be like another product of everybody's gonna now look at Koi as the favorite. It's the traditional manline cycle. You know, nobody's expecting them to do well. Surprise everybody to do well. Crap at international tournaments, and nobody expected them to do well. That's the Mind Lions Koi cycle right now. They're into like that phase, of course. They're into that phase. So I think I'll put Knockdown Koi as my second best team. Now the question is, should I upload this to Reddit or should I just like, let it as a video, of course? I'll upload it to Reddit. You know what? I don't care. This is just my whole thing. I can do whatever I want. It's a free country. I'm almost 28, so I can do whatever I want. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you one and all. And yes, this is the Team Fight KO Coliseum. I know it's a League of Legends channel, but I have to mention this because I'm into TFT right now, and look at my games. Look at my games, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I'm not Grandmaster, man. I'm not keen on anything like that, but I am trying my dangest to like get to platinum or get to like diamond again. I'm trying my dangest. I'm playing more games than everybody else and doing all the kind of stuff. Yes, I know there's a League of Legends. I have to plug in my TFT stuff, but it is what it is. But thank you all for watching and listening to all this kind of stuff on the road to China. Enjoy all the games this weekend. Enjoy the LEC this weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Walk good, and remember, if you're not first, you're last. Pretty simple concept. That's just Samara talking, by the way. Enjoy the rest of the week.